Martin Bisset has joined us at Accountex. Martin, what are you doing at the show this week?
That's a very good question, John. I think this is probably the biggest congregation of all thought leaders, of all experts, professional service firms, suppliers of technology to the profession that we've seen in Europe, and there's nowhere else to be at this time of year.
Okay, and are you giving out your message to people or performing?
As always, performing, that's an interesting use of term. Yes, with a number of different projects on this particular Accountex, looking to bring my own intellectual property to the profession in new ways through video and audio training.
Okay, when you're talking to accountants, advising them, what's the dynamic you're seeing taking place within accountancy at the moment?
So we have two very distinct tribes, for want of a better description, right now, John. We have those who are really getting involved in the tech side of the profession, really taking away the human interaction from the compliance work, commoditizing it, and packaging it up so that there's very little in the way of relationship in there. So that's a big war that's going on. The other one is very much in the advisory side for firms who want average fee levels much higher than the norm, where they are going to be hugely relied upon by their clients for support. And those are, those advisory style firms are really trying to build their relationship building skills and making sure that their behaviors keep pace with the advances in technological processes.
Okay, well, on AccountingWEB, one thing we're spotting is kind of the emergence of different age groups and demographic trends. I mean, what are the patterns you see amongst the compliance specialists and the advisory firms? Are there any, are the older people sticking to what they know and the younger people are the ones changing the pattern of the profession? What do you see?
There's an interesting mixture going on. I mean, I term this as Club 2540, and Club 2540 are this generation of professionals who've been brought up in the old way, in the traditional way of doing things, very much the 6-minute increments of time being accounted for and so on. But now they're changing. Some are spinning out of their firms that they trained in and setting up by themselves. Others are trying to talk to their firms about moving away from the timesheet as an external measure of pricing, to value pricing, but keep the timesheet internally. And if I see anything, Club 2540 are not being given a clear path for them to be able to progress through in their firms. So if you get to this level, we'll do this. If you then can achieve this, well, that's not being spelt out for them, and it's causing frustration.
And they're leading to set them up on their own and
exactly.
Okay, interesting. Now, I know you do some work in the States and probably internationally elsewhere. Are those patterns common to the UK? Is it specific to the UK profession, or do you think there's an element of accountancies globalizing around those two poles you mentioned?
I think there's a globalization towards the two poles, but I think the rate of change is faster in the United Kingdom. And I think that's got to do with density of marketplace. I was told by somebody that there are more accounting firms in the greater New York state than there are in the whole of the UK. I have no idea if that's true, but it gives you a size of scale if it is. And therefore the message from a cloud accounting perspective, the message on a commoditization of compliance perspective, it's not getting through in the US in the same way as it is in the UK. We're seeing a rate of change here from Accountex to Accountex that's really quite rapid in terms of who's springing up, how they're serving their clients. In the US, we are still really still in what I call a traditional phase, in a phase where we are still manually taking care of all the normal compliance issues. Clients are still not seeing the value out of it and are paying for a necessary evil.
Some interesting insights, thanks.
Thanks, John.
Okay, well that's it from Martin. Join us again.